We see regularly in news reports children having cardiac arrests and ended up in intensive care.
Well, again, I think this 14-year-old boy with the spice, I think it comes into this, like, it's funny, this two-tier policing to be controversial. But, you know, it's kind of one of them things, isn't it, is that the drug dealers seem to be getting an easy ride. That when somebody like Matthew Perry dies from Friends, the drug dealers get arrested. There's a big hoo-ha that somebody famous, somebody that's rich, has died in Hollywood of a drug overdose. How many people died in Hollywood of a drug overdose the same day as him? And how many of them got on the news? And how many of their deaths will be investigated by the police? They'll probably just get put in a body bag and thrown in the morgue. And all of them drug dealers are literally getting away with murder. And so drug dealers are dealing drugs to 14-year-old kids. Where's the police going after that drug dealer? Are they targeting that drug dealer? You know, they can target the protesters, and they can put hundreds of people away. All of a sudden they got resources to go after all these people smashing up their towns because of all these riots. Why don't they get the same zeal towards drug dealers, at least for 1 year? And say you get caught giving drugs to a 14-year-old boy, you're getting like 10 years in prison, mate. Why are drug dealers getting away with it? You know, what support are the parents getting? Because I'm pretty sure you go and speak to that parent's boy and say, they go, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. When's the last time any of us see a programme on telly, a government broadcast, this is what spice does to a young person's brain. This is what marijuana does to a young person's brain. This is what nicotine does to a young person's brain. It's wrong to do drugs and it's wrong to smoke. It's wrong to do this. Where is all that? The government's spent a fortune on making and time stopping children doing nicotine. They never even mention vaping, and most of them are vaping. What do they expect? Honestly, it's like a big conspiracy. It's like, spend a year going after drug dealers. If somebody dies of an overdose, send a task force out to find the drug dealer, everyone involved with the drug dealer, and at least do them for attempted assisted suicide. Do something about it.
We've had specific instances in school of young people who appear to have been under the influence of a substance that could have been spice. We assumed it was something like spice or THC or something else, where they have required a medical intervention.
And so he's like, you know, it comes down to that for me, mate. He's like, look, if the law's got no teeth and you're going to make drugs acceptable, what do you expect? What do you expect? It's going to happen, isn't it? Children are going to take drugs. What's happening? There's no consequences. And so if you want to remove all the consequences, because we're coming so PC and so liberal and so loving and so kind and caring, and removing consequences is caring, then, well, I don't think it's going to end up in a good place. I'm believing consequences. I think most people I know that have stopped drinking and stopped taking drugs, it was because of the consequences. Not to their families, by the way, not to their children, but to them. Because they're very selfish people. And if children need to know that taking drugs that young is damaging your brain, you're gonna grow up a little bit backward. You're gonna be falling behind in life. The more time you spend even on your phone. If you get your brain that you're happy just sitting in a chair on a phone, and you're happy just sitting in a room smoking dope or going drinking, and you're not doing anything else, you're going to be underdeveloped. You know, again, this is what you're trying to get through to people. It's like, look, this is a non-negotiable. The environment develops neural pathways. And if you don't develop them pathways, you can't have the capacity. If you don't have enough experience in this world, the more experience you have, the more you can do and the better you do. The more neural and the stronger neural pathways you grow, the better your life experience will be. If you just keep developing the same one in a room all the time, it's going to make it very hard for you to leave that room. If you're only having one relationship or you stay away from everybody, relationships are going to be hard for you all your life until you actually get in the environment of relationships, the environment of work, it's why gymnasts become so good, because they live in that environment, they breathe it night and day, and they develop the capacity to be the best. And that don't just come because they work hard at it. That's the same for everything. If you work hard at being a drug addict, that's what you're going to be. But when you want to be something else, you ain't going to be very good at it. That's what we find in recovery. It takes time for people to redevelop. That's the bridge. The bridge to normal living, we call it, is the period of time it takes for you to stop being a drug addict and crossing that bridge. Your brain doesn't develop on certain drugs, which is why I like abstinence-based. You know, it's all right. This is the concern, that you can give people drugs, but you're going to park them into a life of addiction. They're not going to develop out of that place. They're going to be dependent on that forever until you can get them off of it and let the natural process begin again. But if you haven't got the neural capacity, you ain't going to be doing it, whatever. And you need to develop that. And that's the trouble with young people. Their underdeveloped brains are going to be even more underdeveloped. And so it's shocking, and we need to take it serious because it's going to cost all of us. If there's so many young people building a difficult future for themselves that the rest of us have to pay for, it affects the whole of society. We need to invest in stopping children getting access to them kinds of chemicals, and that's what the law's there for. But they don't seem that bothered about it. So until that changes, society's an ass. That's my last word on that.